having really restless nights recently. You know, waking up before dawn and not being able to get back to sleep. Well, on Wednesday last week, I was laying there. Must have been about 4 in the morning, listening to the morning workers in my block heading off out to work, carrying their big bags of dirty tools and papers and brushes and bottles, clinking and jangling down the staircase and out into the street. And then at 5 o'clock, all of the night workers come back and their equipment clangs in a slightly different way. There used to be a lot more workers though, back in the old days. There was a constant stream of bodies with bags of equipment filing quietly in and out of the block. Right around the clock, with each worker's shift starting 1 minute later than that of the person before, and the next worker 1 minute later, and so on and so forth. There are 1,440 apartments in my block. That's one for every minute of the day. It was a beautiful sight to see everyone so organised. But things is different nowadays. Most of the flats are empty nowadays. Well, officially empty, I mean. In reality, all these empty rooms have squatters inside them. Outsiders of all kinds who don't belong in here. No one seems to know where they all come from. I suppose they somehow get over the big fence in massive swarms, like ants all climbing over each other. But no one ever sees them. You hear about it in the news all the time, though. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was listening to the world waking up, when I hears this rustling sound coming from the other side of the door. it couldn't be anyone from my floor, 'cause all the apartments, save for mine, are empty. Now, there are 6 apartments on my floor, 1 double, 2 singles, and 4 half rooms. So that's 6 altogether, right? Now, I live in one of the half rooms, because my job is half as interesting as that of an inhabitant of a whole room, and 4 times less interesting than that of a double. Now, you can apply to the council for a bigger, more interesting room, because they keep a waiting list, see? But unfortunately, the list is longer than the average applicant's lifespan. So it's all a bit in vain, really. I suppose people don't mind waiting all their life if they think they've got a hope. Between you and me, and this is private, right? I think the council would rather have all them rooms empty and put people in them. But maybe they want to have the outsiders squatting there, but I can't think why. Come to think about it, there ain't no sensible reason why they're here anyway. The outsiders, I mean, perhaps they're allowed to stay to justify the growth of the police force. It's best not to talk about that kind of thing, though. Everyone knows there's practically a migration taking place from outside, and no one knows if they secretly steal over the wall in huge quantities at some appointed time during the night. But that seems unlikely, because there's twice the amount of border police after sunset. Or if they bribe the border police to get in. One thing's certain, though. No one's allowed out, and no one gets sent back. There ain't no outside once you're in. Excuse me if I'm rambling. I've been feeling a bit tired recently. Lack of sleep, you know. Where was I? Now, oh yeah, there was this rustling sound outside of my door. See, the door's so thin you can hear every little noise outside, and the only room for my bed is right behind the door. I insist on having a whole bed rather than the prescribed half bed, because it's an heirloom, see. My old man, his job was twice as interesting as mine, so he had this whole bed to sleep in. Problem is, it just don't give me half as much space though. So anyway, I was laying there quietly, waiting to see what's going to happen. It was a bit creepy, see, because I could hear the person writing on the bit of paper against the other side of the door, and there was this little tap when I heard the full stop going in, and a couple of words being underlined as if to signify something, like bit risky to write a note out there on the landing, I says. Well, sure enough, this fucking little bit of paper slides under my door, and then I hears footsteps creeping back up the staircase. I can tell they went upstairs, because there's more steps going up the block than there is coming down, due to some design fault or something. You know, I never thought about that. It's funny, I suppose. You wouldn't think it was possible. I mean, physically, to have more steps going up than coming down. But somehow it works. I'm no mastermind. Council's got all these things worked out anyway, and I'm sure they understand these things better than me. I mean, I ain't really in no position to criticise, am I? Anyway, when I'm absolutely certain this secret person's gone back upstairs, I pick up the note and sit down to read it. Strange thing it was. It was written on a piece of news sheet, probably pilfered off the community information dump outside. See, it ain't possible to keep up with all the news what comes out every day, so the council just dumps it all in a great big pile outside the block. One day, I remember, one of our security guards, Henry his name was, disappeared. They found him underneath the pile, smothered with news. Terrible it was. I remember seeing his wife and kid just standing there while this medical technician pumped the news out of his stomach. Poor sod. Well, the headline on the front of this news sheet, which was from the date I could tell was 17 years old, right, said in big red letters, the turkey has become extinct. And there was this obituary notice for the turkey underneath, and a picture of a turkey in bright colours standing in front of a digital sunset. I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know the turkey had become extinct. I turned it over because, well, presumably the person who took the trouble to contact me in this highly suspicious fashion didn't do so just to lament the demise of this particular species of domestic bird. And on the other side, there was all this writing, but I couldn't make head or tail of it. Writing. I mean, I'm just not interesting enough to get notes under the door, am I? So I just chucked a bit of paper away and went back to sleep.